I want to open up this rare Negro Leagues baseball card collection I bought with Rube Foster on it, Satchel Paige, and you see it here. It says Negro League Legends baseball cards, Paseo YMCA, February 13th, 1920. That is the location of the meeting to establish the Negro Leagues. And of course, many of you know Rube Foster was a part of this. And the reason why I want to open this is because I don't know a lot of the players that was in the Negro Leagues. I know maybe 20 or 30 of them, but there's a lot of cards in here. So you see, it's a limited edition, and it says 3,569 out of 5,000. So there's only even 5,000 that he's made, right? So Rube Foster, and then it says, this baseball card set honors the players of the Negro Leagues in celebration of the centennial of the founding of the Negro National League on February 13, 1920 at Kansas City's Paseo YMCA. Shot of Satchel Paige there. Right, Satchel Paige. Okay. Nothing on the bottom. So I'm going to open this. I was never going to open this, to be honest, but I feel the need to do so because I want to know more about some of the players. So let's open this. I may buy another one, so I just have one on ice. You know, it's kind of like, I guess, some sneakerheads, right? They don't actually wear their sneakers. So here, it's got a little opening there. Here are just the random ones that I pulled out. Right, we got John Donaldson, who was in the new Negro Leagues feature in MLB The Show, which features the Negro League players. So this is a stack of cards. I'm gonna have to crack them up. You have Soul White. Never heard of him. Soul White. Right? Wheeling. You all know about Bud Fowler. I did content on Bud Fowler. Not Bud Crawford, but Bud Fowler. Mark Digo, he's also in the new MLB The Show. Looks like some of the paint came off the card. So like I said, I might even buy another one. I had this for a while. I never was gonna open it. Jelly Roll Gardner, Chicago, right? So I'll crack some of these open before it's all said and done. All right. Estaquio Pedroso, right? Man, you know, there's a lot of, even then, you know, we had Dominican and other type of players that were obviously brown skinned, and they played in the Negro Leagues, even though they spoke Spanish or whatever it is, coming from Dominican Republic or whatever the case may be. Ray Brown. I actually got also a bobblehead of Ray Brown. The way I learned about, look at that, there go Jackie. The way I learned about a lot of players and stuff like that is by not only watching them on TV, but I remember in the grocery store, you could at the end of the aisle in the grocery store, or in the like where the Inquirer magazines and stuff like that, usually there was a vending machine with baseball and basketball cards in it. And I remember every time my mother would go to the grocery store and we'd be in the checkout line, I'd be waiting on her to check out. I'd be looking in that vending machine at the end, and I'd be like, I want them cards, I want them cards. So I have basically I guess you could call it a index of cards that are a screen, a time capsule in time of like 1993 to 1999 of basketball cards. That video is also on my channel, but for y'all that didn't know about this, you can go out and get this, or you know, if you want to buy your own, it gives you a good idea of who's in it. So I'm just laying these out just randomly. I don't know who's in it. I don't even know most of these people, but here I do. Here's one person I do know, and I just recently also bought a shirt of his, and that's Josh Gibson. So I'm probably gonna buy all new cards because I have to, because I've ruined these. The next ones I buy, I probably won't open them, but I'll make sure that they don't go in heat. But there's Josh Gibson, y'all. They said Josh Gibson was, people compare everybody to Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth was the white Josh Gibson. That's what they say. Now people say, oh, you're the black version of this. No, they say that Babe Ruth was the white version of Josh Gibson. And they just now put his stats in the MLB because most of these guys' stats weren't recorded. And here's Satchel with his Crawford. There's Satchel with his Crawford jersey on. A lot of you don't know that the Crawfords were a huge team in the Negro Leagues, which is why I say Terrence Crawford must have some great energy behind him, because that name has carried weight for black athletes since the beginning of professional sports. Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Rube Foster, I think, might have managed or to some degree, but the Pittsburgh Crawfords. And there you see it on the back. Leroy Satchel Paige. Leroy Robert Page, they call him Satchel, 1932 Pittsburgh Crawfords. And then you have a nice little paragraph, if you will. Okay, let's look at the back of Josh Gibson's card. It says 1939-1940. Cangalleros de Santur. I don't know, but he was born in Buena Vista, Georgia, and passed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Added to the Hall of Fame in 1972, Josh Gibson. So some of these look like they look like painted versions of real photos, or reimagined almost. Some of these look actual. So we got Jackie, of course. We got Jackie Robinson. (1995) Kansas City Monarchs. So KC, right? Then you have Fats Jenkins, Monte Urban, Henry McHenry, that's an interesting name. Alex Radcliffe, I heard of him. Ray Brown, I have a bobblehead of him. William Binga, I'm reading it sideways, so pardon me. Luis Tank, Elston Howard, Frank Leland. Now let's look at that, because it looks like they have some of the coaches and the owners or managers in there as well. So here you see William Clarence Matthews and Frank Leland. Says Frank Leland, 1905 to 1909. 1905 Harvard Crimson. So they may have not been actual. No, they were players. I believe these are players. This is how they dressed then, right? That's how they would dress. Smooth, right? So then you have Cool Papa Bell. There you go. I'm sure most of us know who Cool Papa Bell is, right? That's one of the best names ever. Cool Papa Bell, otherwise known as James Thomas Bell, 1937 Dragones de Saúl Trujillo. Born in Mississippi, passed in St. Louis. So this is how I retain. Here's another Cool Papa Bell. So it looks like they got whatever team they were on. Maybe they have a card for each one. So that's two cool Papa Bells. This one's 1928 St. Louis Stars. Right, so that's 2 cool Papa Bells right there. Then we got Nap Gully, interesting name. We got Lenny Pearson, Josh Gibson, of course. I'm gonna put that one towards the top with Jackie, right? And we got Luis Santo. So I've never heard of those guys, and a couple of those guys, William Binga, right? So we're gonna put a few more cards out here, right? Typically I would say, I brought out these gloves. I guess I don't really need the gloves, right? So, let's see. Sometimes, I guess it's a habit from when I was younger, you know, you stack the most important stuff to the top. So you ain't gotta go through the stack deck, right? So we got Cool Papa Bell, Josh and them, and then we got the one and only Satchel Paige rocking the Crawford jersey. That's big. I like that. And let's see what else we got. So we got Newt Allen. We got Hallie Harden, Alex Pompez. We got the good old Rube Foster. There's Rube Foster, who played and managed. Actually, he's really good on my MLB The Show team. Now here's one. Oh, I like this, and actually it's not damaged. Check that out. Rube Foster and Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige with the Kansas City Monarchs. Rube Foster with the Grays. I'm sorry, Josh Gibson. I'm getting excited, people. So check that out. You got Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson together. Then on the back, sorry, I don't have my autofocus on. Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson, 1942 Negro League World Series. So they went head to head. Says Gibson was held in check by the Monarchs pitcher with 1 hit and 13 at-bats and no home runs. So Satchel got the best of that. That's dope. All right. Now as I continue with the sounds of John Coltrane's A Love Supreme in the background, y'all want to turn your attention to Toni Stone, who is the first woman to play in the Negro Leagues, right? She's the first woman to play in the Negro Leagues. And she played for the Indianapolis Clowns, which is a very interesting name for a professional team, right? So that is Toni Stone, very important piece of history. So we have Regino Garcia, Chino Moran, Perucho Cepeda, Pete Hill, Double Duty Radcliffe, the Estaquio Pedroso. At the top we have Newt Allen, Hallie Harden, Alex Pompez, Rube Foster, Jose Munoz, Sam Bankhead. Then at the bottom we have, once again, that photo with the 2. Then we have Ray Hooks Dandridge, Bill Monroe, Dick Lundy, Mule Suttles, and Toni Stone. Now, I read all of those sideways, so hopefully I read them clear and concise, right? So let's go to the next group. You know, one of the beauties about this video is that none of these men are typically remembered in history, but on my Champside platform, I'm able to, you know what I mean, remind people who they are so they are never forgotten. So from left to right, you've already seen these 2. So let's start from the top. We got Charlie Grant, Buck O'Neil, and you can see both Buck O'Neil's, this is him when he's much older, obviously. Then you got Clint Thomas, Billy Williams, Hurley McNair. There goes that McNair name. Shout out to Steve McNair. Martin DeHigo, Cool Papa Bell again, Buck O'Neal, Chet Brewer, Walter Ball, Peanut Johnson. Check that photo out. Indianapolis Clowns. Dick C.A. Dizzy Dismukes, Bill Foster, Topeka Jack Johnson, and Roy Campanella. Alright, so this one's kind of major, right? I got the Satchel Pages that I got so far. So we got Satchel Page on the Crawfords here. We got Satchel Page again. Can't make out it. Looks like Guam, something like Guam or something. See a Y in there. Kansas City. Then we got Josh Gibson twice. So this row is two of the biggest dudes. Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson, right? At the top, we got Chappie Johnson, Red Ryan, Luis Padron, Judy Johnson. Then we got Frank Weasel Warfield, Roy Partlow, Home Run Johnson, Buck Leonard, John Donaldson, again legend, and then Cristobal Torriente. So I have heard a few of those, especially Satchel and Josh. Now in this one we got a good shot of Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron on the Indianapolis Clowns, you know, who played for the Milwaukee Braves and the Atlanta Braves, and right. Then we also have Hilton Smith, who was a legendary pitcher. Played with him on MLB The Show. He's a beast. So from the top to the left, we got Quincy Trope, William Lambert, Henry Kimbrough, Newt Joseph, Wild Bill Wright, Ray Wilson, Bullet Rogan, Rube Foster. There's Rube Foster again. You know, probably when he was more on the managing side. You got Terrace McDuffie, Silvio Garcia, William Edward White, Ghost Marcel, Roy Campanella, Hilton Smith, Hank Aaron, Connie Morgan, Eddie Dwight, and Cannonball Dick Redding. Listen to these names, man. Crazy names, right? Sound like some boxing names. But look at the teams, you know, you can see the different teams, the Monarchs, the Clowns, the Elites, you know, different Maine. I see Baltimore, Elite Giants. So there's the next haul. I don't know how many cards there are, quite a bit. All right, so in this one we get a good shot of Jackie Robinson with Kansas City. Let's take a look at that. So we got Jackie Robinson, Kansas City, 1945 Kansas City Monarchs. So all of these cards have a number to them, and they all have a paragraph or two on that player's time at that time, or what they were doing at that time. You also got Hank Thompson, who's very prominent, you know what I mean, big hitter. So from the top we got Dobie Monroe, C.I. Taylor, Ashby Dunbar, Vic Harris, Lazaro Salazar, Big Bill Gatewood, Sam Streeter, Slim Jones, Composey, Alejandro Ohms, Turkey Stearns, Jackie Robinson, Hank Thompson, Pop Lloyd, Bill Perkins, and Jelly Roll Gardner. Hell of a name right there. Jelly Roll Gardner. All right, here we go. There's my guy, Bud Fowler, not Bud Crawford. Didn't play for the Crawfords. He is actually the first African American to integrate professional baseball, way like 100 years before Jackie Robinson. It says 1894 Findlay Sluggers. He was born in 1858, before the Emancipation Proclamation. He passed in 1913. Okay, he played in the first professional league. He helped form the first black professional league all in 1887. So well before the Negro Leagues was established, Bud Fowler had already helped create the original Black Professional League. Then there's another Satchel, right? Satchel Paige with, let's see, with the Birmingham Black Barons. Remember that Michael Jordan played for the Barons when he played baseball. And one of the things that, I like about this is that, as I was talking about the Crawfords and, some of these guys who have been forgotten, listen to the names and you'll hear some of the names are still here playing professional sports and thriving. And you'll know what I mean, because we have Verdell Mathis, Tubby Scales, Goose Tatum. Check out Goose Tatum with the cigar in his mouth in his photo. And you think of a Jason Tatum maybe. You got Jose Mendez, Frank Duncan, right? Tim Duncan, Gus Greenlee, Artie Wilson, Judd Wilson, Bill Pettis, Pete Hill, Cool Papa Bell twice, down there in the corner, Satchel Paige, Bud Fowler, Bud Crawford, Sol White, and Cannonball Jackman. Alright, so you'll notice that I've created some type of Bud Crawford combination with my Negro League cards, which has to have some type of high vibrational feel to it, right? So let's look. We have a nice card of Jackie Robinson here. We also have Rube Foster again. And then we have Effa Manley. And I had to read these before I put it down, but it says that Effa Manley owned the Newark Eagles, right? And she was a white woman who was a huge advocate for the Negro Leagues, and she led campaigns and protest pretty much whites that tried to shut down the Negro League. So they gave her some historic documenting in this card series. Then it says Esteban Bellan was also white, but he helped establish baseball in Cuba. So from the top left we have Willard Brown, John Beckwith, Bill Holland, Edgar Wesley, Dave Brown, Lou Dials, Bruce Petway, Jackie Robinson, you seen Home Run Johnson, Frank Grant, Oscar Heavy Johnson, Willie El Diablo Wells, Chino Smith, Leon Day, Duck Sykes, Doc Sykes, Doc Sykes, and Tetelo Vargas, right? So you see Cuba, Leland, American Giants, Chicago Giants, Finlay, right? So just looking at some of the locations of the teams, a lot of cities had teams a lot of people don't know about, like Newark. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a city with a lot of black folks in it. So, that's why I'm going through these cards. All right, this is a nice lineup. We got the Harrisburg Giants, Oscar Charleston, who's considered arguably the greatest of all time. Then you see Josh Gibson once again, Buck O'Neal, and listen to these names. Nothing new under the sun. Nip Winters, Rap Dixon. So we got Rap and Nip. And from the top, we got Octavius Cato, Sam Jethro, Candy Jim Taylor, Mike Gonzalez, Andy Cooper. Who didn't I get? Charles, Tommy Thomas, Leroy Matlock, Jimmy Lyons, Bill Bird, Ed Bolden, Jimmy Claxton, George Rabbit, Shively, Ben Taylor, Fleet Walker, Larry Doby. Some of y'all might be related to these brothers. I'm just saying. That's why I'm doing this video. All right, this one might be my favorite one so far. So you see the Crawford Satchel Paige up here, right? But then you got the two Satchel Paiges here, Black Sox. Then it looked like Cincinnati maybe. But then right next to that, you also got the Crawford version of Josh Gibson, right? The Pittsburgh Crawfords. So I don't know if they played on the same team at the same time, but you had Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson play for the Crawfords. And you may not be able to see it, but check this guy's name out. Tank Carr, that's his name, Tank. So Tank, Crawford, these names have been around black professional sports since the Negro Leagues. And then you got Rube Foster side by side with his different teams. So from top left is Pancho Coimbre, Tank Carr, Satchel Paige, Manny Minoso of the New York Cubans, Sammy Hughes, Felton Snow, Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, Biz Mackey, Webster McDonald, Gervosio Gonzalez, Gentleman Dave Mala Archer, Ramon Bragana, Bingo DeMoss, Rube Foster, Bill Reddy Cash, Cool Papa Bell. And just the last of them, you have George Williams, unknown. Check that out. They're saying that this man is unknown. Let's look over his Frank Wickware. Okay. Schoolboy, right? Not Cool Boy, not Schoolboy Q, but Schoolboy Griffith. Hell of a name there, like Bill Reddy Cash and Cool Papa Bill. Crush Holloway. Okay. Then Smokey Joe Williams. Not Smoking Joe, but Smokey Joe. So again, a lot of the names, I wish my focus was better. I could have autofocused it, but I only got 2 hands. But Neil Robinson. Spot Poles, interesting name. Looks like Philadelphia Giants, maybe. Let's look at that unknown card 1 second. Let's see what's on there. So it says unknown player. Come on, camera. Work with me now. Unknown player. Browns, Tennessee Rats. This player represents the many unknown players whose stories have been lost to time. That's powerful. So they put an unknown in there for everybody they missed. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Like all the brothers that not gonna be remembered in time, they made a card for them, unknown. Let's look at that Josh Gibson card. Let's look at that Josh Gibson card one time. Let's get a good look at that. Look at that. Arguably the greatest baseball player of all time. You know what's ironic? I wore a Josh Gibson shirt to the Crawford Spence weigh-in. And I wore my Jackie Robinson 42 sneakers. Remember I asked Errol about Jackie Robinson at his... So black baseball is the original league of the gods. The black athletes, you know what I mean? Before basketball, before football, it was baseball. 1928 Pittsburgh Crawfords. Josh Gibson, born December 21st, 1911 in Georgia, Buena Vista. Passed in 1947 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gibson remains a Paul Bunyanese figure, part historical figure, part myth. Right? Says he hit between 800 and 962 home runs against all competition. Okay. Says in 1932, Gibson's family came to Pittsburgh as a part of the Great Migration to begin in 1910, bringing 6 million Southern rural blacks to the North looking for jobs. So that's powerful, man. You got the 2. I think these might be the only 2 Crawford. The 2 Crawford cards that's in this pack, man. That's big, man. Check that out. Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson. So, ideally, none of these cards will have the little white spots on it. They'll be nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? But I think it adds a little character. You know what I mean? Like old baseball cards, like your granddaddy gave them to you. But I'm gonna probably buy a new one and open it immediately. Or maybe I won't open it, but I won't have it in the heat. I actually had this box sitting in my car. You know what I mean? This box was sitting in my car, probably for much longer than I care to admit, but it definitely affected the cards. If I would have known it was damaged, I might have not opened it. I mean, I might have not did this video, but I was already set up to do the video, so I don't think it takes away anything from the cards themselves, but So we got all the Satchel Pages, and we got all of the Josh Gibsons out. A lot of cool Papa Bells, one Bud Fowler, you know, a bunch of Rube Fosters, Buck O'Neal, the Higio, Hank Thompson was in there maybe once. And if you don't have MLB to show, you can play with some of these guys. Like Josh Gibson's not in there, ironically, but Satchel is in there. I got videos on there, so I might put this on Champside, or I might put this on, Champside TV. And then there's one more card, like a complimentary card. I'll just tell you what it says if it don't focus. It says, this enclosed cards are based on portraits painted by Mr. Cranler and commissioned by Mr. Caldwell. So a lot of these are portraits, right? And then it says, this set is a result of collaboration. 2020, February 13th, Foster, owner of the Chicago American Giants, met with representatives of 7 other teams: Chicago Giants, Cuban Stars West, Dayton Marcus, Detroit Stars, Indianapolis ABCs, Kansas City Monarchs, and St. Louis Giants to found the NNL at the Paseo YMCA in Kansas City, Missouri. So you see team names now that may have been taken from the Negro Leagues. We don't really know, because there's lots of Giants and Cuban, just a lot of these team names are still being used now. So there was teams in the Midwest, there was teams in Cuba, everywhere. You can look at the names on the front of the jerseys: New York Cubans, Elite Giants, Hilldale looks like. I used to have a big poster of all of the teams, man. I didn't even know they had like the New Orleans Black Pelicans. I got that hat. I didn't even realize that's where they got the Pelican name from, the New Orleans Black Pelicans. So, you know, there was many teams. I'm a sports fanatic, so I would love, what I would do is, now that I open these, I'm probably going to turn them over and read them, not over time, not all at once, but as I see fit. I'm gonna go from the top of my stack where I got, you know, my favorites, and then I'm gonna work my way down, read the stories on the back. So I think, I don't remember where I bought this set. I wanna say I bought it on the Negro League's website. So, you know, if you want to copy it, go ahead and copy it. I don't even know if it's available now. I bought this like 3 years ago, probably like 2021. If it came out in 2020, I never opened it. I said, let me switch up my videos. And again, I don't know, some of y'all might not know these people. Maybe some of y'all might be related to these guys or know these guys, or you a huge baseball fan and a huge Negro League fan and you didn't know this existed. So now you can see what you get in there. So I opened it for all those crazy memorabilia nuts who don't like to open nothing. I open mine. And definitely follow the baddest brand in the land, Champside. And all these guys, including your unknowns, are being remembered right here on my channel as we continue to document historic and current sports, entertainment, education, knowledge, science, math, everything under the damn sun. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that watched this video. Hit the like, share it, send it to somebody you may think enjoy it, including, you know what I mean, the older generation that may have grew up watching some of these guys, and it brings back childhood memories. So shout out to Satchel Paige, Bud Fowler, Josh Gibson, all of them, Rube Foster, everybody, Oscar Charleston. It's the baddest brand in the land, Champside.